Most people don't fail because they're weak. They fail because they lie to themselves every single day. They call fear patience. They call comfort strategy. They call avoidance peace. Machiavelli warned about this centuries ago. The most dangerous lie isn't told by others. It's the one you whisper to yourself when nobody's watching. It's the excuse you repeat until it sounds like truth. It's the story you tell yourself so you can sleep at night while your dreams die quietly in the dark. In this video, I'm going to break down 8 ruthless Machiavellian principles that expose self-deception and show you why brutal self-honesty is the foundation of power, clarity, and control. This isn't motivation. This is psychological warfare against your own weakness. This is about looking in the mirror and telling yourself the truth, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Because the pain of truth is temporary, but the cost of lying to yourself? That's permanent. By the end of this video, you'll understand why Machiavelli believed that self-deception is the first step toward defeat, and why the most powerful thing you can do is stop protecting yourself from reality. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose truth. Let's get into it. Number 1. Comfort is often a disguised lie. Here's a lie people tell themselves every single day. I'm waiting for the right time. Let me translate that for you. What they really mean is, I'm avoiding discomfort. They're not strategic. They're scared. They're not patient. They're paralyzed. And they dress it up in language that sounds smart, sounds reasonable, sounds like wisdom. But it's not wisdom. It's weakness wrapped in excuses. Machiavelli knew this. He knew that power favors those who act, not those who delay. Action creates momentum. Delay creates decay. And comfort? Comfort is the drug that keeps you still. It whispers to you, stay where you are. It's safe here. Don't risk it. Don't push. Don't try. And you listen. Because comfort feels good. But here's what comfort really does. It makes you predictable. And predictability kills power. When you're comfortable, you're not growing. You're not adapting. You're not sharpening your skills or testing your limits. You're just existing. Going through the motions, playing it safe, hoping things work out without putting yourself on the line. And that's exactly where people want you. Your competitors? They want you comfortable. Because comfortable people don't compete hard. Your enemies? They want you comfortable. Because comfortable people don't fight back. Even your own mind wants you comfortable. Because discomfort requires energy, focus, risk. Comfort requires nothing. That's the trap. Comfort lies to you by making you think you're fine, that everything's okay, that there's no rush. But while you're comfortable, the world is moving. Opportunities are passing. Time is running out. Other people are taking the risks you're avoiding. And one day, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but one day, you're going to wake up and realize that comfort didn't protect you. It trapped you. So ask yourself, what am I calling waiting for the right time that's really just fear? What am I calling being smart that's really just playing small? What am I calling strategy that's really just stalling? Because if you're honest, brutally honest, you'll see the lie. You'll see that comfort has been whispering sweet nothings in your ear while your potential dies of boredom. And once you see it, you can break it. Not by waiting, by acting. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose discomfort. Number 2. Self-deception is the first form of weakness. Let me tell you something that nobody wants to hear. Lying to yourself feels safe. It feels comfortable. It feels like you're protecting yourself, but it's slowly destroying your edge. Every time you tell yourself a lie, you're giving up a piece of your power. You're choosing ignorance over awareness. You're choosing fantasy over reality. And that choice, that one small choice, becomes the crack in your foundation. Machiavelli understood this better than almost anyone. He studied rulers, leaders, conquerors. And you know what he found? They didn't fall because of their enemies. They fell because they misjudged themselves. They believed their own hype. They ignored their weaknesses. They convinced themselves they were invincible right up until the moment they lost everything. Here's the truth. If you can't see your own flaws clearly, someone else will exploit them. Your blind spots become their weapons. Your denial becomes their opportunity. Your self-deception becomes their strategy. Think about it. When you lie to yourself about your abilities, you don't prepare properly. When you lie to yourself about your habits, you don't change them. When you lie to yourself about your situation, you don't fight to improve it. You just accept it. You rationalize it. You make peace with mediocrity. And that's exactly where weakness begins. Not in your circumstances, not in your resources, not in your background, in your willingness to look away from the truth. The moment you start lying to yourself is the moment you hand over control of your life to forces you can't even see. Because you're not fighting reality anymore. You're fighting a fantasy version of yourself that doesn't exist, and you can't win a war against ghosts. So here's the first principle. Self-deception is the enemy. It's not your friend. It's not protecting you. It's poisoning you. And the cure? Brutal honesty. Look at yourself. Really look. And name what you see. Not what you wish was there. Not what you hope to become. Not what you pretend to be on social media. What's actually there. Right now. Today. Your real habits. Your real discipline. Your real commitment. That's where power starts. Not in the lie. In the truth. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I see myself clearly. Number 3. Excuses are stories for the weak mind. How many excuses did you make this week? How many times did you explain why you didn't do something instead of just doing it? How many times did you tell yourself a story about why it's not your fault? Here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. Every excuse you accept becomes a permission slip for failure. Every time you explain instead of improve, you surrender authority over your own life. You give up control. You hand it over to circumstances, to other people, to bad luck, to timing. You become a victim of your own narrative. And Machiavelli had no patience for victims. He understood that excuses are stories weak people tell themselves to avoid responsibility. Because responsibility is heavy, it's uncomfortable. It means that if something's wrong, you have to fix it. But excuses are light, they're easy, they let you off the hook. I didn't have time. I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the support. I didn't know how. All of those might be true, but they're also irrelevant, because the question isn't whether obstacles exist. Of course they exist. Obstacles always exist. The question is, are you going to let those obstacles define you, or are you going to find a way through them? Excuses are just stories, and stories can be rewritten. Instead of, I didn't have time, you could say, I didn't prioritize it. Instead of, I didn't have the resources, you could say, I didn't get creative enough. Instead of, I didn't have support, you could say, I didn't build the right relationships. See the difference? One version makes you powerless. The other version gives you something to work with. One version keeps you stuck. The other version shows you the path forward. And here's the thing about excuses. They compound. The more you use them, the easier they become. The easier they become, the more often you use them. Until one day, your entire life is built on a foundation of explanations for why things didn't work out. And that's not a life. That's a eulogy. So stop. Stop explaining. Stop justifying. Stop defending your limitations. Start owning them. Start saying, I chose not to instead of I couldn't. Start saying, I didn't prioritize it instead of I didn't have time. Start saying, I was afraid instead of it wasn't the right moment. Because honesty, even painful honesty, gives you power. Excuses take it away. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I own my choices. Number 4. If you can't face reality, you can't control it. Power begins with one thing: seeing the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. This is where most people fail. They want reality to bend to their hopes. They want the world to be fair, to be kind, to reward good intentions. And when it doesn't, they feel betrayed. But Machiavelli didn't care about fair. He cared about what works. And what works is this: clarity. Cold, hard, unfiltered clarity. Self-lies distort reality. They put a filter over your perception. They make you see what you want to see instead of what's actually there. And distorted reality leads to disastrous decisions. You hire the wrong people because you believed their potential instead of their track record. You stay in the wrong relationship because you focused on the good moments instead of the pattern. You stick with the wrong strategy because you invested so much that admitting failure feels impossible. All of that comes from one source: refusing to face reality. And here's what nobody tells you. Clarity is cruel. It doesn't sugarcoat. It doesn't protect your feelings. It doesn't care about your ego. It just shows you the truth. And the truth can be harsh. It can tell you that you're not as talented as you thought, that your plan isn't working, that people don't respect you the way you assumed. That hurts. But you know what hurts more? Living in a fantasy while the real world moves on without you, making decisions based on wishful thinking and watching them blow up in your face, wondering why nothing works when the answer is right in front of you. You just refuse to see it. So be cruel to yourself, not in a destructive way, in a clarifying way. Ask the hard questions. Is this actually working, or am I just hoping it will? Am I respected here, or am I tolerated? Am I growing, or am I stagnant? Am I building something real, or am I building a castle in the air? Don't answer with what you wish was true. Answer with what is true. And if the truth is ugly, don't run from it. Use it. Let it guide your next move. Let it inform your strategy. Let it show you where you need to adjust. Because the only way to control reality is to see it first. Clearly, completely, without illusion. That's where real power lives. Not in hope, in awareness. Number 5. Your emotions are not truth. Here's something that's going to sting a little. Feeling good does not mean you're right. Feeling calm does not mean you're strong. Feeling confident does not mean you're prepared. Your emotions lie to you constantly. They tell you stories. They distort your perception. They make mountains out of molehills and molehills out of mountains. And if you let them guide your decisions, you're going to get destroyed. Machiavelli warned against trusting emotions over strategy. Why? Because emotions are reactive. They're short-term. They're based on how things feel in the moment, not on how things actually are. You feel angry, so you burn a bridge. You feel excited, so you make a promise you can't keep. You feel scared, so you quit before you even start. All of those decisions, they feel right in the moment. But 6 months later, you realize they were disasters. That's because emotion comforts the ego. It makes you feel justified. It makes you feel like you're doing something. But truth? Truth strengthens the position. Truth is cold. It doesn't care how you feel. It cares about what works. And what works is this: separating emotion from decision-making. That doesn't mean ignoring your emotions. You're not a robot. Emotions give you information. Fear tells you there's risk. Anger tells you a boundary was crossed. Excitement tells you there's potential. But information is not instruction. Just because you feel something doesn't mean you should act on it. You need to filter emotions through logic, through strategy, through long-term thinking. Ask yourself, is this emotion giving me useful information, or is it clouding my judgment? If I act on this feeling, will I regret it tomorrow? What would the cold, strategic version of me do here? Because the version of you that's driven by emotion is weak, reactive, controllable. But the version of you that acknowledges emotion without being ruled by it, that version is dangerous. That version can't be manipulated, can't be baited, can't be thrown off balance. That version sees clearly even when the storm is raging inside. And that's the version Machiavelli would respect. Not the one who feels right, the one who is right. Number 6. People respect those who are honest with themselves. Here's something most people don't realize. Even if they don't know why, people can sense self-deception. They can feel it in your energy. They can hear it in your words. They can see it in your actions. Insecurity leaks. It leaks through posture, through tone, through the way you make decisions. When you're lying to yourself, you're constantly compensating, over-explaining, trying too hard to convince others and yourself that everything's fine. And people pick up on that. They might not know exactly what's off, but they feel it. And what they feel is weakness. On the flip side, when you're brutally honest with yourself, something shifts. You stop trying to prove things. You stop defending. You stop performing. You just are. And that creates something powerful. Internal alignment. When your thoughts, words, and actions are all pointing in the same direction, people feel it. They sense the solidity, the groundedness, the quiet confidence that comes from knowing exactly who you are and what you stand for. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. And alignment creates silent authority. You don't have to demand respect. You don't have to assert dominance. You don't have to tell people you're strong. They just know. Because there's no gap between who you are and who you pretend to be. There's no performance, no mask, no fake version, just raw, unfiltered truth. And truth is magnetic. It draws people in. It makes them trust you. It makes them want to follow you. Not because you're perfect, but because you're real. You're not hiding. You're not faking. You're not selling them a fantasy. You're showing them exactly what you are, flaws and all, and you're not apologizing for it. That takes courage, real courage. But it also gives you something most people never have: genuine influence. Not based on manipulation, not based on charisma, not based on playing games, based on the simple fact that you're aligned. And aligned people are rare. Aligned people are powerful. So stop trying to project an image. Stop trying to convince people you're something you're not. Be honest with yourself first, and the respect will follow. Number 7. Lying to yourself keeps you controllable. A man who doesn't know his true motives can be manipulated. A man who hides from his weaknesses can be led by them. When you lie to yourself, you create blind spots. And those blind spots become leverage points for anyone who wants to control you. Think about it. If you don't admit you crave validation, people can control you with approval. If you don't admit you fear rejection, people can control you with the threat of exclusion. If you don't admit you're insecure about your abilities, people can control you by questioning your competence. All of those things work because you haven't faced them yourself. You've buried them, denied them, pretended they don't exist. And when something's buried, it has power over you. But when you drag it into the light, when you look at it directly and say, yes, this is true about me, it loses that power. You can't be manipulated with something you've already accepted. You can't be controlled with a weakness you've already acknowledged. That's what self-knowledge gives you. Independence, not from other people, from their ability to pull your strings. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He knew that rulers who didn't know themselves were easy to topple, flatter their ego, and they make stupid decisions, threaten their pride, and they overreact, play on their fears, and they freeze. All of that happens because they don't see themselves clearly. But a ruler who knows exactly who he is, who knows his strengths, his weaknesses, his triggers, his blind spots, can't be played that easily. He sees the game. He recognizes the manipulation. He stays in control. And the same applies to you. When you're honest with yourself about what drives you, what scares you, what you want, what you avoid, you become uncontrollable. Not because you're perfect, but because you're aware. And awareness is armor. So stop running from the parts of yourself you don't like. Stop pretending they're not there. Face them, name them, own them. Because the moment you do, they stop being weapons someone else can use against you. They become tools you can use for yourself. Now, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. I know myself. Number 8. Truth is painful, but power is built on pain. Facing your limitations hurts. Admitting fear stings. Accepting responsibility burns. Truth is not gentle. It's not kind. It doesn't pat you on the back and tell you everything's okay. It cuts. But here's what Machiavelli knew, and what you need to understand. Enduring short-term pain prevents long-term destruction. The pain of truth is temporary. It's sharp, yes. It's uncomfortable. It makes you squirm, but it fades. You know what doesn't fade? The consequences of avoiding truth, the slow erosion of your potential, the quiet death of your dreams, the accumulation of regret. That pain doesn't go away. It grows. It compounds year after year until you wake up one day and realize you've built an entire life on lies you told yourself, and by then, it's too late to fix it easily. So you have a choice. You can take the sharp, clean pain of truth now, or you can take the dull, endless pain of regret later. One requires courage for a moment. The other requires surrender for a lifetime. Machiavelli chose truth, always. Not because he enjoyed pain, but because he understood that power is built on pain. Every strong foundation is built on hard truths. Every great achievement is built on honest assessment. Every real transformation is built on the willingness to say, this isn't working, and change course. That's painful, but it's productive pain. It's the pain that makes you sharper, stronger, clearer. Truth cuts, but it also sharpens. It removes the excess, the delusions, the fantasies, and what's left, the real you. Not the version you wish you were, not the version you pretend to be, the version that actually exists. And that version, raw and real, is the only version that can build something lasting. So embrace the pain. Don't run from it. Let truth cut away everything that's holding you back, and stand in what remains. If you want power, stop lying to yourself. If you want control, stop protecting your ego. If you want strength, choose truth over comfort every single time. Because the moment you stop lying to yourself is the moment you stop being weak in silence. It's the moment you take back control of your life, your decisions, your future. Machiavelli didn't write about kindness or hope or positive thinking. He wrote about reality, about what works, about what separates those who win from those who lose. And what separates them isn't talent or luck or circumstances, it's honesty. The winners look at themselves without flinching. They see their flaws, they admit their fears, they acknowledge their mistakes, and then they do something about it. The losers, they keep lying, they keep making excuses, they keep waiting for a better time that never comes. So, which one are you going to be? Are you going to keep whispering comfortable lies to yourself? Or are you going to face the hard truths that set you free? Because I'm telling you right now, the truth will hurt, but the lie will destroy you. Choose wisely. And if this video hit you the way I think it did, hit that like button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe to this channel because we're just getting started. There's a lot more truth coming your way. And if you're ready for it, I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp.